So, today we're gonna be talking about the culture of my country and anime. So, just letting you guys know, I'm Colombian. As in, I was born in Colombia. Ever heard that name? Well, I assumed you did from some documentaries or shows involving drug cartels. Narcos, maybe? All you need to know is that we're located right here, right next to Brazil. Also, in this modern era, it's inevitable that cultures will collide, and we often get inspired to make our own entertainment media based on what we see from countries like the US or Japan, for better or for worse. One example that comes to mind is Metastasis, also known as Colombian Breaking Bad, but that's a rabbit hole for another day.
Yo soy el que toca la puerta. Yo no estoy en peligro. Yo soy el peligro.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Yes, the same dialogue but in Spanish. And yes, hope you don't mind a few subtitles. There are no English dubs for the stuff made in my country, but that's not gonna stop me from showing you the masterpiece we're gonna check tonight, because I'm letting you know now, you're gonna watch horror that the language barrier cannot protect you from. It's too late to leave now. This is where curiosity has led you to. This is Bolivar El Heroe. Yeah, you saw it at the beginning. You must have noticed that the animation is so unique. And this is historical, as in it's probably the first Latin American anime. Arguably, however, that would be Cyber 6 since its creator is from Argentina. However, the animation for that show was made in Japan and the production overall was in Canada. The movie we're looking at today was fully made by and for Colombians. Directed by Guillermo Rincon. Supposedly, I've heard from other sources that he just put his name there to get any fame he could get out of it if it were to be a successful movie. I found this short interview where he tries to explain the process of animation, emphasis on trying.
¿El libreto de quién es?
El libreto no es un libreto, es un guión. Tú sabes que el guión es un guión. La diferencia entre el guión y el libreto es que el guión está hecho, la película está hecha más con lo que el director cree del guión.
Dude, if you don't know the difference between a script and a libretto, do not improvise an answer. We also have Nixon Aguilera and Diego Sajek. Their previous works were a cartoon called El Siguiente Programa, basically a response to South Park and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. According to IMDb, they just did two things and then retired from the animation industry. I struggled to get info about these guys. I still don't know the tricks that bigger YouTubers pull out to find over 10 minutes worth of history to tell, or maybe I'm just lazy. But I couldn't find much info behind the scenes stuff, but I will credit what I find. Apparently they still have an online presence, though I only found a few of their socials, like LinkedIn, where tolerance to pressure. I wonder if you had tolerance to criticism. Quick update! Diego Sajek's LinkedIn somehow vanished from existence as I was editing this. I guess this just makes their current whereabouts a bigger mystery, guys. There is also his YouTube channel. Hasn't been active in over a year though. And looking at this, I think I'm just gonna pass out if I try to watch it. There's also some quotes from Diego Sajek in forums, which will definitely give you the proper expectations for what's ahead of us.
We have no interest in art or being protagonists. None of that. But to generate resources to create more. Write to my email because this forum is really fucked and we'll continue on with this gay argument.
Yeah, using the word gay as an insult. A classic. And just one more.
Do it if you can.
For context on that last thing, I couldn't find the forums where they come from, only those screenshots, but he's been trying to defend his movie with the "let's see you do better" argument, because I guess only people who make animation can have an opinion on it. I made a few. Does my opinion count? Thanks to the Chilean channel Huérfano Producciones, I got the info I've just showed you. I recommend this video if you speak Spanish. There's also a Lost Media Wiki article, but it doesn't offer that much info. You can also check out some pieces of official art that were found thanks to Tyler Santander. All sources linked in the description below. Yes, this movie was lost media once, but it was found and you can find it on YouTube. This will be preserved for future generations to watch, alright? And apparently it got deleted twice. Copyright strike maybe? Hopefully it doesn't affect my video. Something that certainly is still lost is the Colombian dub. But wait, isn't this movie made in Colombia? Made with Colombian voices? It is, but there's also a Mexican dub, which is the only one that was found. It's bizarre, but that's what we have. So, without much backstory to go on, let's get on with the movie. So the movie starts innocently enough, reminding us that this movie is based on a hero, but it contains fictional events and fictional characters, and is told from the eyes of a kid. And by the way, spoiler alert, said kid is never mentioned or brought up again. And here comes the title screen, and it's gonna take a while. Let me speed this up. And the story begins in Nueva Granada, which will later become Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Panama. Don't worry, this is not an educational video, just going for parts here. And then we see slavery and racism. She's cool with it though. The natives are forced to work for the Spanish Empire. We got to see samples of the cruelty, as best as this art style can portray them.
El poder que en ese entonces estaba en manos de los españoles y aristócratas era utilizado para abusar y explotar al pueblo sin compasión.
Then we move on to the next scene where the narrator is gonna tell us about Bolivar, who is about to be given birth, our protagonist, which is based on the real historical figure.
Don José Vicente debe conseguir una nana que alimente al bebé. Sí, doctor, la conseguiré. Al salón. Sí, amo. Dile a tu mujer Hipólita que tendrá que alimentar a mi hijo que está por nacer. Como ordene, amo.
We are then shown a glimpse of another main character, Americo, which for some reason does not look like a baby at all here. Yes, this is meant to be an important character, but this is how they show him first. Then we cut to a scene where his father dies. By the way, this movie is meant to be a dramatization of the revolution that brought independence to plenty of countries in South America. But we're here to see the abomination that is this animation, and boy, we're only starting!
Ya, qué niño tan hermoso.
An important hero from history right here, ladies and gentlemen. And then Bolivar's father also dies. You were lucky if you make it to your 50s back then. And then we skip to the school days of Bolivar. Okay, let's digest everything so far. The animation is ugly. You've seen it, and the anime influence is more than noticeable. It's alright plagiarized, and the plot is moving at 500 miles a minute. Pacing and art direction are non-existent in this movie. Basically, what this movie is, imagine they make a movie about George Washington and the American Revolution, but it's an anime, but it looks like this. And it's made in my country. I could just go like, hey, look at this ugly face, and that ugly face, and that weird walk cycle all day. That's how ugly this thing is. I know there are cartoons like Beavis and Butthead that show us that you don't need beautiful animation to tell a compelling story, but this is pretending to be at the level of Japanese animation and failing miserably. So, anyways. No, I don't know what this is supposed to represent or what even is going on. Is this supposed to represent the rivalry between the kids? Now, here's when the movie introduces the main antagonist, Tiránico, which, yes, it's derivative of the word tyrant, which is the most generic name for a villain I've ever heard in my language. I think his body froze, he's not moving, and then we're introduced to a character named Inglés, which means English in Spanish. So is that his name, or is he a British student? By the way, this movie uses the word black in Spanish a lot, and I gotta censor it because YouTube might think it's the N-word, and yeah. So anyways, Bolivar here convinces Americo that if he wants to learn new stuff, then he has to go to school. But since the natives aren't allowed in schools due to the Spanish rules segregating them, he has to sneak in and see the class from the window. But Tiránico notices him and yells to get him apprehended. And they immediately do so. A very well animated torture scene later, and some nice looking tears, Bolivar's mother dies. Are you getting the hang of the pacing yet? Back to school, Bolivar develops a fetish for hyper-muscular males. No, I swear on my mother's behalf, I did not add that sound effect. And that gets him expelled. He wishes he lived long enough to make a DeviantArt account. By the way, the name of this redhead over here is Carlos. He's Bolivar's tutor and he's gonna be more relevant than you think.
Entrégueme el látigo y váyase, muchachito impertinente. Voy a darte una lección. Para que aprendas. ¡Carlos! ¿Me puede explicar qué está haciendo? ¿Cómo se atreve?
Carlos gets fired and replaced with the least anime looking dude in this movie that's also called Simon. Okay, this just makes me realize how often in any movie or TV show are there characters with similar names and it being something casual and not relevant to the plot.
Huh, guess that means we have two Neils now. Oh, hell no!
I really want to talk about this show one day. Again, I'm not adding these sound effects. The movie just likes being goofy for no reason.
Ya basta. No te aproveches de un pobre esclavo. Si quieres pelear, pelea conmigo.
And the fight begins. Without school, Bolivar starts taking personal classes from his new tutor, in company of Americo. Wait, did you see that? I hope the animators who did that got paid for going the extra mile.
Ahora intentarán subirse al caballo dando un solo salto.
I'm not a horse expert, but I'm pretty sure you don't need to jump like a ninja to ride one. Also, they should have saddles. This is unsafe for kids, dude.
¡Corre! ¡Corre! ¡Oh!
So, how about we do a little interaction here? You tell me what just happened. Come on, just take your time. Type in the comment section what you think just happened. Use your imagination if you have to. Come on. So, Americo is now a grown-up and has a girlfriend who happens to be Tyrannico's sister, and they keep the relationship a secret from him.
¿Qué haces aquí a esta hora?
Estaba tomando aire.
A la casa. No es hora de estar en el jardín.
And then Bolivar's grandfather dies. Damn, this story is so sad I barely have time to cry.
Y mi última voluntad es que te prepares militar e intelectualmente para hacer algo por América.
Oh, Bolivar does not have time to cry either. Next scene, Bolivar joins the military where he encounters Tyrannico and let's call him the British. Next day, Bolivar and the British woke up and made their beds. Tyrannico, however, still holds grudge from the beating he got in the past and decides to take revenge by unmaking their beds and have them make everyone's beds as punishment from the military school. And he's very proud of that.
Esto es solo el principio. Con que ahí son las reuniones de los rebeldes.
Well, the rebels are not very good with discretion, it seems. By the way, that's Carlos. Now, Simon the teacher and Americo plan to enlist more members to the rebellion against the Spanish Empire by spreading copies of the muscular fetish art piece that Bolivar drew like a decade ago. Okay, this scene alone creates a lot of questions like, how was this drawing preserved? How did they manage to make copies without copy machines? And in color, no less? I mean, this is the same movie that thinks horse riding requires a degree in ninja acrobatics, so forget logic at this point. Bolivar and the British knew it was Tyrannico who made their beds because who else in the world would be? So they planned their revenge. Now we're back with Carlos, who's spying on the rebels. Oh! Damn, that's slavery with some bakery, alright? We're back with Bolivar and the British who decided to prank on Tyrannico by... Later at night, the British goes outside to eat a meal, only to be ambushed by Tyrannico, who's wearing a mask that doesn't cover his overly notorious orange hair.
Te llevaré a la enfermería. ¡Algo! ¡Ya no lo golpees!
They then discuss what happened with the superiors to see who gets punished. Due to their conflicting arguments, they simply scold both of them and nobody leaves the room with a smile. Bolivar receives a mysterious letter telling him that his tutor has been arrested and sentenced to be executed, so he decides to save him.
Oiga, general, ¿y usted por qué no se deja ver la cara?
And immediately saves him. With so many pointless conflicts that are solved faster than you can blink, it's hard to feel anything for this movie anymore. Things just happen with zero impact. Then Bolivar embarks on a trip to Spain with the intent to study politics, I think. Then a storm happens.
¡Una tormenta!
But it's all fine and dandy. I'm gonna go have a mouthful of donuts right now. I wish I was getting paid for dealing with this shit.
We'll be right back after these messages.
So, after a very short trip, Bolivar finally arrives to Mexico? Wasn't he going to Spain?
Esperamos que se quede, señor. En México siempre es bienvenido.
Gracias, pero mi objetivo es llegar a España. Quiero prepararme para liberar a toda América.
Esa es una tarea muy difícil. Ojalá la consiga.
Esa es mi meta.
And then he actually goes to Spain. By the way, this movie has a narrator which I haven't shown because all he does is either state the obvious, add filler information, or say stuff they didn't feel like animating. And oh god, front-facing cartoon characters always look cursed to me for some reason.
También quisiera conocer a los reyes. Deben ser personas muy interesantes.
Oh, you mean the kings that have control over the continent of America and have the intent to control and oppress all of these people? The ones that basically pushed you into starting this fight for the independence in the first place? The ones that enslaved and torture millions of native Jews! Bolivar also starts taking sword fight classes. This is basically his training arc. He also takes dancing classes from Maria Teresa, who he falls in love with. Again, no time for development, gotta go fast with the plot. Now enjoy the montage. And then Bolivar's feet broke, he could no longer fight, Independence Day never happened, and we're still under control of the Spanish crown to this day. See y'all next time! After mastering all those skills, we return with Americo, who is still dating Tyrannico's sister, who, by the way, despite how much of an antagonist her brother is, and she even helping the resistance, she still loves him because he's the only family member she has left.
Mi hermano es lo único que tengo. Júrame que nunca le harás nada malo.
Te lo juro.
Carlos returns.
Tyrannico, descubrí que tu hermana está viendo a un...
Should I subtitle this whole thing, or just play music to go along with this candlelight? After Tyrannico finds them, Americo just leaves her behind because she thinks she believes she can sort things out.
La reina invitó a Manuel, Esteban y Simón a comer a palacio. Gracias por traerme a este simpático invitado.
I'm sorry, I'm too distracted to put subtitles on. I can't look away from those. I can't. I can't with this movie. We just switched from a torture scene to a happy dinner time with Bolivar and the royalty as if he's not enemies with them.
Debo retirarme. Hay unos asuntos urgentes que debo atender. Acompáñame, Manuel.
Como ordene, majestad.
I was gonna make a horny joke here, but I can't. I can't. The king quickly finds out that the queen is cheating on him, as well as the presence of Bolivar.
¿Dónde está el americano?
Don't worry, Manuel. The safe word is pineapple. By the way, have you noticed that I've been using the term American when referring to anyone from the American continent and not exactly someone from the United States? I just want to make that clear. The Spanish men quickly find Bolivar and... Should I play this again? Back to Nueva Granada, Tyrannico's sister is caught helping the rebels because the plot needs to catch on with the death count. Americo finds out about the execution and did he just perform the Naruto run?
¡Arre! ¡Arre!
¡Ejecútenla!
Perdóname, Rosa. Simón escapó a Bilbao en el norte de España y al reencontrarse con María Teresa decide casarse con ella.
Ha! Suck it, Americo! Bolivar travels back to Nueva Granada along with his wife. He's told of the situation by Hipólita, Americo's mother, touches Americo's huge man boobs and teaches him how to use the sword. So, one training montage later, Bolivar's wife dies. I'm not even gonna pretend like this is funny at this point. More manly love later, Simón Bolívar goes on yet another trip. I'm just gonna skim through this one. It's just filler.
Nunca pensé que su odio por los americanos llegara tan lejos. Ejecutar a su propia hermana.
Sí.
Carlos shows up again, this time to suggest Tyrannico to interrogate Americo's mother. But they get nothing out of her, so they just kill her. We are back with Bolivar, who is in France, by the way. He meets with his old tutor and they witness Napoleon's coronation, which is shown as this cartoony midget for some reason, even though it's meant to add motivation for Bolivar to lead a revolution in America. Is he giving the middle finger? Then Bolivar goes to Rome to do this.
Aquí, en el pueblo de Rómulo y Numa, de los Gracos y los Horacios, de Augusto y de Nerón, de César y de Brutus, de Tiberio y de Trajano. Juro por el Dios de mis padres que no daré pausa a mi brazo ni reposo a mi alma, hasta no romper las cadenas que nos oprimen por la voluntad del poder español.
How much of the movie is left? 30 minutes. Malparido hijo. Bolivar travels once again, this time to the United States to learn about the type of government that was going on at the time. You know, before all the shame. But even the movie started of its own filler, so they just skip to him going back home. And he informs about the kings of Spain being captured by Napoleon and planning protest marches to keep up with the revolution.
¡Que viva el pueblo! ¡Libertad para América! ¡Abajo los reyes!
And then we're introduced to the general captain of Venezuela and gets rejected by this seemingly happy crowd. Not happy with what's going on, some politicians are suggested by Tyrannical to keep Bolivar busy doing diplomatic work on England. Meanwhile, these acts of revolution start pushing many people to fight for their own independence. Now, here comes a fun fact about me. Back in school, we had to make a theater play on the scene you're watching on screen. This was the flower base of Llorente. It was the event that kickstarted the independence process of Colombia. Except it didn't end like this. We just had to break a base on the floor and not kill a guy. Then Bolivar goes to Venezuela to lead the rebel. Wait, wasn't he going to England? I don't even care anymore. Wait, what was that? A cloud of dust? Looked more like a fart cloud. Bolivar uses his speech skills to convince the people to keep up the fight and the true war begins.
¡Entreguen las armas y ríndanse!
Tyrannical is then promoted to lead the battle against the rebels, and he quickly made progress thanks to who else but Carlos, being a good spy as usual. Then we have a look at Bolivar's plan to start an attack. But once again, good old Carlos is there to keep his eyes on Simón Bolívar, who he used to beat up as a kid. But now, he's ready to get him killed as an adult in war.
Perfecto, entonces iré a recuperarlas.
Entonces le deseo buena suerte y me despido porque me iré a España, pues me siento enfermo y quiero visitar a mi familia.
Carlos viajó y murió de una enfermedad muy dolorosa.
Yes, the one villain that basically kept Tyrannical one step ahead of Bolivar, especially just recently, the one villain that was torturing the protagonist before the main threat was introduced, simply dies off screen like that. The movie just doesn't care anymore. It just can't surprise me at this point.
Revisen esa bodega. ¡Por mi patria!
What? So more off-screen stuff happens. Apparently Bolivar gets arrested but then gets liberated, blah blah blah, and then he prepares himself for the final battle. Oh god, please let's get this over with. Here's a funny Wolverine looking guy, and then they all get lost in Silent Hill. where his army is struggling with starvation and freezing to death, which we can only tell thanks to the narrator, which I've been replacing throughout the whole video. And in this case, he's necessary because I can't see a damn thing. Bolivar has flashbacks and uses his speech skills once again to make everyone feel better. And now the final confrontation begins.
¡Ahí vienen! ¡Preparen los cañones! ¡Disparen!
Fatality.
And the British died. Just kidding. Turns out that wasn't the final confrontation. So let's jump to the final confrontation and enjoy more of this exquisite animation job before it all ends. America, there's a difference between fighting for freedom and killing for pleasure. And right now, I'm not sure about the former. I know I don't comment on the visuals because I know you don't need me to point them out, But for this one, I really want to ask you what this expression means. It's so exaggerated, yet feels realistic at the same time. The teeth are bigger than the nose. But anyways, here we finally get the confrontation between Americo and Tyrannico. But before he could deliver the finishing blow, he had to be reminded of the promise he made to his sister, which Tyrannico takes advantage of, because of course he would.
Coconut gun!
Yes, he just pulled out a gun out of nowhere. Also, according to my friend Camo, this gun's supposed to be a flintlock, but they got the reference for the wrong gun and this is the result. Then again, historical accuracy is clearly not the intent of this movie. So, finally, Simon Bolivar won, but he's not happy, and neither I am. Are you happy? But anyways, the Spanish influence was removed from the American continent and Bolivar became president of Colombia. He liberated more South American countries, well, according to this movie. Listen, if you want to know the real story of Simon Bolivar, that's up to you. This video was just made to poke fun at this movie that tried so hard to get kids invested into him by making an imitation of an anime in desperate hopes to appeal to them. And yes, I know there's quite the debate on whether we should call something made outside of Japan anime or not, but this movie certainly took quote-unquote inspiration from popular animes that are popular in Latin America, such as Dragon Ball, Saint Seiya, Inuyasha, Ranma, and it shows. Oh, and Berserk too, I assume? I hope? And that's just the animation. The writing. Jesus Christ, what is this? For something that takes inspiration from real events, you would think there would be enough material to work with and let the story tell itself partially, but sometimes it gets comedic and quickly wants to be dramatic in the next second. Did you thought Hazbin Hotel had a fast as hell pacing? Bolivar makes it look like The Godfather. You can't even tell what is happening sometimes, and characters die so fast that not even Happy Tree Friends can beat that speed record. Allegedly, this movie was played in some local movie theaters and was aired in local news channels as well, but barely went anywhere. They just lost confidence on it, yet somehow got a Mexican dub. Do I recommend this movie? Well, considering there's nobody out there to subtitle the whole thing, I'm pretty much the only one who can provide you the Bolivar experience. Last minute edit, turns out there's a subtitled version of the movie out there, so you can actually watch the whole thing for yourself. I haven't verified the quality of the translations, but you have it there. I'd say yes, if you want to laugh at horrible, ugly stuff while being confused. This movie is worth checking out. It's kinda funny that I happen to live in the country that developed the first Latin American anime ever made, which doesn't get the infamy it deserves due to the language barrier, and here I am trying to break it as best as possible. I also gotta give the animators a shout out. According to the director, they were working on the project while doing publicity stuff for other companies. It was not a full-time job. Let's hope they're doing well wherever they are. I'm not fully in touch with the animation industry in Colombia, and I'm still new on how to do research stuff for videos, so I can't say how it is doing right now. But we'll find out soon enough. I know there's a lot of interesting content made in Latin America that I really want to show in the future. Being bilingual allows me to share these experiences, and I hope you had some fun checking this one out with me. More content like this will arrive soon, along with gaming content, of course. Just sharing my interest over here. So, this was quite a long video to work on. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see y'all next time!